Nations, it's me, Salty. Welcome back to 2 Cents Toys, and today it's raining. So, if you hear that in the background, I'm going to try and cut it out. That's what that sound is. What you also just saw was my Happy Halloween video that came out on Halloween 2019 when this was supposed to be reviewed. So, I had pre-ordered this at GameStop, and he was originally supposed to be released in September 2019, I believe. I'd been told he'd been released, and then for some reason, he got delayed until February, maybe late January, I want to say. Regardless, he'd been delayed significantly. So that Happy Halloween video was supposed to be a special intro made just for Halloween for this review, and he got pushed back. I never found him, still have never seen him in the stores, so I don't know. Anyway, he's finally here. I am reviewing him because I told myself I would, even though I'm still pretty angry at Neca for pushing his release date back. But you see, it's the Neca Ultimate Pinhead, which, if you saw my Toonie Terrors video, Pinhead is my favorite kind of horror movie monster bad guy, with Hellraiser being my favorite franchise. 1 and 2 in particular are incredible. I'm one of the only people I know that likes Hellraiser 4. That's enough of that. Looking at the box art, we get this really lovely artwork of Pinhead. I can't read the name down there. It looks like it says Osborne, maybe 17? Can you all read that? Yeah, it looks like Osborne 17 to me. So, you see one of the taglines, Demon to some, Angel to others, Hellraiser, he'll tear your soul apart. Side of the box just says Hellraiser Neca, real toys with 2 E's. Other side of the box is the same. Top of the box says Hellraiser Neca, 17 and up, so it's not a toy. Bottom of the box, it tells you kind of how to change the head, gives you the sculptors and all that. Okay, yeah, artwork courtesy of Justin Osborne, so it is Osborne 17. Pretty nice. Did a good job. Back of the box is just some still images of the figure, and then Hellraiser down here at the bottom, a little read-up, and then it tells you what it includes. 3 weapons, 2 swappable heads, and 2 different versions of the Lament configuration. Then, of course, being Neca, we have a window flap showing you the figure, the extra hands, the weapons, the extra head, and the 2 Lament configurations. And on the inside of the flap, we get a mock-up of the figure with some chains behind him. All that out of the way, I'm going to open him up, we'll go over articulation and the other accessories, and I'll try not to think about how burned I was by Neca. Before we go any further, I want to thank Neca for using twisty ties. Any of my subscribers out there that also collect Neca know what I'm talking about. Those little plastic things that hold their figures and stuff in place destroy your fingertips. So twisty ties were a very nice change of pace. First, we'll go over what else is in the package. Of course, we get this snarly, angry Pinhead face, which is a very nice likeness. The grooves are great. The pins are great. There's even some detail sculpted hair on the back. You can see the little hooks pulling at the flesh and all that. Really great paint. Connects via a ball going up into the head. And these nails are spongy and rubbery. I'm holding it very delicately because if you force them like that on the chin, they bend, and you kind of have to push them back into place. Just be wary of that when you're changing heads. But this is a very nice grimace look for him. This is the first Lament configuration, which you could call it the solved one, because when the Cenobites appear, this is kind of what it looks like. So air quotes around solved. Then we have the traditional Lament configuration, which is actually wood and gold, but instead of using kind of a wood grain, I guess they went with solid black, which is fine. It looks the part. The detail on it is actually pretty stinking good, so I'm impressed by that. We have a gripping hand for both the left and the right. They did a really good job of simulating the white flesh with the kind of blood-stained fingers. For lack of a better word, leather also looks really great. Simple hinge mechanism. Keeping with hands, we also have an additional left and right hand. This one's more of a reaching kind of hand. This one's more of a cradling hand, I guess, for holding the cubes. Or, whatever you want it to do. Really great paint apps again with the white transitioning into kind of blood-stained fingers. And starting with the weapons, we'll start with the simplest one, which is just a kind of generic knife. There's some painted blood detail in there, if you can see that. Nice silver details, nice wash. Uses a real metal hook to kind of pin it on to kind of hook it onto his belt. This particular tool also with some blood detail on it. from the best that I can surmise, is that this is a modified amputating knife used, according to my research, in the 1700s. So I think that's what this is supposed to be, but I'm not 100% on that. Searching and trying to do the research just yields, Pinhead's knife or Cenobite knife. But still, really great paint apps. Kind of gave it some damage, some scraping on it. Again, another metal hook to place on his belt. And this is an amputation saw. It's a little smaller than it should be, but you can see some more blood detail on there. These were used, again, according to my research, in the 1600s. So that's what this is based on. I knew it was an amputation saw or a bone saw, but according to my research, it's the 1600s, was more ornate. So that's kind of interesting. Again, with a metal hook. This brings us to Pinhead himself, which has a very lovely sculpt, which, Neca always has great sculpt and great paint. He has a rope here for holding his various tools, just kind of tied into two holes here in the upper abdomen. Cloth goods down here on the bottom. They added these kind of, not sequins, but something that's reflective in it to give it a more leather look instead of making it actual leather. They also included bendy wire down here in the bottom, so you can pose this individually. It's split in the back with additional bendy wire going up into kind of the buttocks area, so you can, bend it, position it however you so please. This is more of his docile face, for the lack of a better word. Again, the very soft pins, which bend if you're not careful, and a very, very good likeness of Doug Bradley. I have to admit, that's a very good likeness of him. I'm going to very gingerly go over articulation now. The head is on a ball, and I find the best way to position up is to push on the bottom of the chin. It does tend to push the head up and off of the ball that it rests on, but you can get him to look up somewhat. For looking down, I press on the back of the head. He is able to look down that far. When it comes to side motion, I tend to grab on the sides of the ears here, so he can look side to side. Because the head and neck are on a ball, he does get some tilt. The shoulders are able to spin 360 with no problem. The shoulders can also come up at a 90. He has double jointed elbows that come up almost flush. You can also bend them individually, just like that, whichever one you think looks more natural. The wrists are able to swivel and pivot, of course. Down here at the abdomen, both of these pieces overlay on an internal skeleton of some kind and are more rubbery. This allows him to lean forward and lean back more than the foot soldiers and Shredder for some reason. That white you can see is the internal skeleton. When you're moving him forward and back like that, be cautious not to do that too much because it puts strain on this little rope belt that he has that's hard to make out on camera. He also gets some side to side and some swivel. Again, being cognizant not to go too far so you don't strain on this. Underneath his skirt, we do have some very nice sculpted details. They didn't short out on that. He's able to kick forward at a 90. He's able to kick back at almost a 90. He can kick out to the side at almost a 90. In here is a thigh swivel, but mine is very, very tight and I don't want to risk breaking it. But you are able to swivel up here at the peg and the hip as well. He has a single jointed knee that comes up that far. He has a knee swivel of sorts. The ankle goes back that far and forward that far. We also have an ankle rocker. And these are the three Pinheads that I own. You can see that it's quite different between the Savage World Pinhead, the Toonie Terrors Pinhead, and the Ultimate Neca Pinhead. And that's really all I have for you today. I waited on reviewing this Pinhead, I guess I was frustrated with Neca dropping the ball on when I was supposed to get this. And I guess in the back of my mind I thought I was going to wait till next Halloween to review him, which wouldn't make any sense, but anyway, I'm really glad that he finally showed up. I do love this figure. Anyway, let me know down in the comments if you like Hellraiser, and if you do, which movie's your favorite. Or, if you don't like Hellraiser, let me know why and which horror franchise you like the most. So, that's all I got for today. Don't forget to like and subscribe as well. And until next time, thanks for stopping by. I'm Salty, signing off.